right, welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the argumentative body paragraph. Now, when you're creating an argumentative body paragraph, in this technique where we're talking about a 4-paragraph essay, you need to include the counterclaim and the rebuttal in the body paragraphs. So instead of the 5-paragraph essay where you have 2 support paragraphs and then a counterclaim paragraph, in this format, you're going to use your support paragraphs to build up your side of the argument and then also tear down the other side of the argument. So both support paragraphs will also include the counterclaim and the rebuttal. So the first thing you need to do is a topic sentence. This sentence introduces the main idea of your paragraph, uses the language of the prompt sometimes, and links back to the thesis sometimes. Now, I know that some other teachers will teach you to use the language of the prompt and link back to the thesis as sort of a wrap-up sentence at the end of the paragraph. And that's also good, but you definitely need to introduce the main idea of your paragraph in this first part of the paragraph. So I've given you some examples here to use for your first and second paragraph. You've got the primary reason that mistakes lead to great discoveries. And then for the second paragraph, you can use another important reason that mistakes lead to great discoveries. But you need to let your reader know that you're leading off with your best reason, and then you've either got another equally important reason or your next best reason following that up in the next paragraph. But you definitely don't want to do things like number your paragraph, like say first of all and second of all and third of all. It sounds really you just don't want to number your paragraphs because it's not a good practice. You want to use words to signal to your reader that you're moving on, but using numbers is not an effective way to do that. The next thing you need to do is put text evidence into the paragraphs. Now I'm going to tell you, you need to have at least 2 pieces of text evidence in your body paragraphs of this 4-paragraph essay. You can either set it up to where you have 2 pieces of support, or you have 1 piece of support for your side of the argument, and then you have another piece that helps you tear down the other side of the argument. But you can't just plop a quote right in the middle of your paragraph. You need to let your reader know that you are introducing text evidence, and you can do this in a couple of different ways. There's actually a lot of different ways to do this, but I'll give you a couple of examples here. And I feel like it's important to either let the reader know what article you got it from or the author's name. And I know later on you'll be talking about citations when we get into MLA style, but for right now, you need to do this in writing. And so according to, and then insert the article or the author name there is a great way to lead off this sentence. Another great way is to say as stated in, and then give the article name. And this way your reader knows that you got this information from either this author or this piece of work. And then you lay out your quote or your paraphrase from there. Now, elaboration. This is where you make your money. This is 40% of your score when we're talking about the FSA or we're talking about any progress monitoring writing test. They want to hear your voice coming through. They want to hear your explanations. And I know sometimes this can be the hardest part, but that's kind of the point. What they really want to know is that you can explain yourself in a way that's effective and efficient. And a lot of the times I teach my students not to assume that the reader knows anything about the topic. And that can give you a little bit more explanation. And it's almost like treating this person as if, it used to be that the car ownership manuals would tell you how to fix complicated things with your car. But now car ownership manuals say things like don't drink the fluids. And so you're almost talking to that person that you worry might drink the fluids here. You want to explain yourself very thoroughly. Don't leave out a single step, otherwise this person might hurt themselves. And that's quite literally the way you should approach your explanations or your elaborations. Another way to approach it is by taking on a specific approach. You can make an evaluation, just give your educated opinion. You can use comparisons, weighing the similarities and differences. Denotation versus connotation, the dictionary meaning versus the implied meaning. Cause and effect, explain how one event causes the other. Real world examples, give examples you have witnessed or heard of or read about or seen on the internet. Logic and reasoning, explain the logical progression of ideas and processes. Description should be a part of everything that you're doing. Just embed that in everything that you do when you're writing. Be as descriptive as you can without going overboard. An illustration showing how something happens or describing in great detail what something feels like or what something looks like. Those are all important. And remember, never assume that your reader knows anything about the topic. Explain even the most minute details or the smallest details, and that's going to help you extend these paragraphs. Now we're going to get to the counterclaim. You've got to shift gears a little bit. And again, like I said before in the introduction, you might say something like one source suggests, or some sources suggest, or other people believe, or one author argues, just to let your readers know that there are some people on the other side of this argument, and that these are the people you are addressing, or that you're trying to defeat, for better, or for lack of a better word. But this is where you acknowledge the other side of the argument. And then this is your opportunity also to weigh your good points against the bad points from the other side of the argument. You want to create an imbalance of information. You want your reader to clearly see that you are winning this argument. So it's important to bring in good information to support your argument, and then point out the flaws in the other side of the argument. And then some great ways to lead into this are saying things like "this illustrates," or "this clearly shows," or "as anyone can clearly see," or "obviously," and that can help you explain why the other side of the argument is wrong. And then finally, a transition or a wrap-up sentence can be a good way to help you move on to the next paragraph. And it can also help you, like I said before, link back to the main idea or the thesis of your essay. The beginning and the end of the paragraph are more kind of style, and whatever you prefer to do in your opening, in your topic sentence, in your transition at the end, or your wrap-up sentence at the end, whatever works for you best, that's your style, and that will shine through, and that will be the most important thing to use there. I'm just giving you some ideas if you don't have any when you're building your essays. And that's all I've got for the body paragraphs. See you in the conclusion.